Ladies and gentlemen, children all, welcome to this maiden edition of the video podcast of Daniel Oldfield's Corner, the community's virtual platform, in collaboration with Medan Productions. This forum is poised to bring in the stories and experiences of everyday people, at some point celebrities as well. My name is Daniel Oldfield, a veteran journalist and broadcaster from Sierra Leone for over 40 years. I came to Canada over 23 years ago. I brought greetings from Sierra Leone, and as I came to cover the World Games, as I say, over 20 years ago, so I thought it wise that my experience will galvanize people here, because most of the time our stories have not been heard. So it's our duty to tell our own stories. So that is what motivated me to bring all the experiences, my skills as a veteran journalist, to make sure that I tell the stories of our people here in Alberta, Canada. And I've been doing just that. So I can tell you we are poised, myself and my team, to make sure we hit on various aspects of our people here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. We'll take on education. We'll take on trade. We'll take on jobs. We'll take on sports, religion. Of course, we'll take on our culture. Because, tell you what, I have seen, for the short time I've been here, I've seen people grow. I've seen that we have positive strides being made by our people. And it's our duty to tell our own stories. It will be long, it will be good. But I trust you guys with this forum, as I say, the Daniel Oldfield's Corner, in conjunction with Medan Production, we are set to go. We'll start off with a bang, as I have here with me our first guest, who is no less a person than Mrs. Denisiah Allie. They call her Auntie Denisiah. Auntie Denisiah, welcome to this our first edition of the podcast, Daniel Oldfield's Corner, which is the community's virtual platform in collaboration with Medan Productions. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oldfield, for giving me this golden opportunity.
I've known you and your family in Edmonton for quite a while. But in this forum, we are here to know more about you and to know who you really are. So I will ask you, Auntie Denisiah, who is Mrs. Denisiah Allie?
Thank you. I am just a lady, a simple lady that you know. And I can tell you that I was born in Freetown, Sierra Leone. Went to school at Juba Army Municipal School. That was for elementary. And for secondary, St. Joseph's Secondary, Oldfield in Freetown.
So they call it convent, right?
Yes, it was known as St. Joseph's Convent way back when.
What about your academics? What subjects were you doing so well in, or were you also involved in sports at the time?
I did some sports, but I wasn't selected at all because I wasn't one of the best, right? They will always pick the best people. Okay. But by then, I used to have headaches. I did not know it had anything to do with my eyes. Okay. Yes, so I used to do some, but after they select their best athletes, we'll just stay back and enjoy the fun and be cheers, right? Cheering. Okay. We'll be in the cheering squad.
So you are the best. You were like in the head of the supporters group, right?
No, I was just in between, right?
Okay. So now
I wasn't the best, right? I was just in between.
You've told us about this sporting thing, and then leading to your going to Form 5, was it?
Yes.
Because from 1 to Form 5,
mm-hmm.
Then you are contemplating now leaving school to go to like college or what? How did that go?
Yes, I was thinking about doing law.
To become a lawyer?
Yes.
Wow.
At that time. But I did not like history. I used to love geography, and I was so good in geography. So my form teacher called me and told me I have to do history or government. But I told her I don't know anything about government. History is too boring, and I am not a good person with dates. So she said, well, will you think about another career? I said, okay. And then they gave us about a week or so to just talk among, talking among ourselves in class. And, we had little groups, brainstorming. And after that, we had to go back and then tell them what we came up with. So I said, well, I would not mind to teach, right? Because in my family, everyone was a teacher. So she said, okay, well, you are a teacher in the making. I said, I was so surprised she said that. I'm like, wow. I said, so why are you saying that? She said, oh, I know you are very quiet and you try to be a good student. Definitely, that's a good character to become a good teacher. Then I said, thanks. So I was looking at that. But then I lost my grandmother. Yes, when I finished, like a year after, and my little sisters were still in school, in convent. But then I had a friend that was actually good in, when we say hustle in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
She's a hustler.
Oh.
So one day she came and she said, I have this program. I don't know if you'll be interested, but I'm already late. I forgot to tell you, somebody was talking about you the other day that you are looking for something to do. You were at the canteen at FSSG, and that was not something that you want to do permanently. It was just a temporary thing for that time. So she said, I have this project with the Ministry of Education. I don't know. I want you to come, She did not know I was someone that liked to teach and, liked to pass on knowledge and all that. Okay. She was just somebody that was caring, and she knew that I needed something. So we went to the Minister of Education, to see the Minister of Education. And he told me I was late already. No per diem, right? So she said, I will see if we can take a few people, but mind you, there will be nothing.
No money.
Yeah, so I went outside and I discussed with my friend. I'm like, I think I'll like it. I don't care about the money. She said, are you sure? I said, I'm sure. So she said, okay, well, I will just tell you when things... It was just a thought by then. They had not put everything on paper. So we are just waiting. She'll come and say, oh, don't worry, I'm not going to forget you. At least they are planning to take some people, right? So as soon as they agreed, she came, and then we ran to the Minister of Education, right? By then there's no phone, nothing like computers,
Just had to
personal computers, right?
Right.
Yeah, they used to have some though, but not something that you will use to send a text or on the phone, and then the computers to send Gmails.
Yeah.
So it was just, everything was legwork. Yes. So we ran quickly, and I was the second person for them to admit after they took the 50 that they were looking for. Yes. So there was another girl after me. So 3 people, they said, no capacity, they will not take more people. Because I had somebody that I was looking, that was interested to, right, by that time. So I told her, well, we will see if there's going to be another project like this, then we will just let you know. So we did that training. It was through Milton Magai Teachers College.
MMTC.
Yes, it was MMTC. Not now is what Milton Magai College of Education. I think they changed it to some kind of
College of Education.
And the technical division at Congo Cross. That was the first time that I didn't even know that it still exists. I was talking to someone.
Okay.
Yes, that was the first time that they started that program at Technical, which was the technical division. Yes. So we were trained for the new system of education, which was 6334. Yes.
Oh, wow. I never left that there.
No? Okay. Well,
What was it like?
it was a full program. We were in class a whole day. We had a break, right? Like probably 12. Where then, by then it was in Trade Center actually. That's where we took our classes. But they were telling us that this division will be at Technical Institute. So I was wondering, this place is so small. How would they put that in? So now they are telling me they have some students at the Trade Center so that they will create room for the program, because there was a continuation which I wasn't part of because I left to come to Canada. It was intense actually. We did a lot of practicals as well, clothing and textiles, which was my own.
Your own area of preference. Is that what you're talking?
Something like that, yes. And then my friend was foods.
Oh, okay.
But then, because you're a teacher, there are some things that you have to do, which you will not be prepared for, but you have to, right? We had to be in class. We had to be form teachers. We had to take roll call. We have to do report cards.
So you're talking about technical now?
Yes.
So who was the principal at that time?
It was Mr. Five.
JE5?
Yes.
Okay. And then the vice?
Mrs. Roberts, Carlotta Roberts. Yes. But that was a good school. Technical was one of the good schools. Apart from talking about my school and Annual's Memorial School, which were the best. But that was a good school though.
You know what, Mrs. Ali? Some people would prefer from college to go teach at their alma mater. So how did you prefer? You left your alma mater and then you with all your love for St. Joseph, you went to teach at a government technical secondary. So what?
No.
So
they would have told me, go there, come here. They would be pushing me around, right? I had my aunts there, my uncles. No.
So
I would have liked to go there.
So you opted to go to government technical?
Yes, somewhere that they know nothing about me. I would have preferred to do that.
I see. I get it. Gotcha.
And I did that, actually.
Okay, now so let's go to another area, which has to do with your sight.
Okay.
When did this all started happening? Like, because I think at this juncture, was it in the as a teacher and technical that you started having problems with the sight?
No, like I told you, I used to have some problems with my head, headaches, blurry vision. I used to have floaters, but still I used to see well. Yes, because I had glasses. I used to use glasses. But if somebody had told me you will go blind, I would have told that person, that's a lie and you're a witch, right? That would have been the first thing to say, right? So why are you saying that to me? Like, do you love me or not? I'll have a bad feeling about the person, right? But then they used to have missionaries coming to Freetown, which was free, and they would do a lot to help people in churches. And actually, they used to be at the Key too. The Mastership, the Dollar
the Mastership.
Yes.
It's still in town. As of now, as I'm talking to you, it's still
okay.
there. The Mastership is
It was free and they used to help a lot. So it was through one of our churches. And one of the ladies told me to come in because she said, I know you have problems, but just come. I was so scared, right? Because I had all these floaters. But mind you, I wasn't thinking about something worse happening to me.
So
It was just, the surgeries. By then, those surgeries were not very successful and all that kind of thing. So my grandmother too did not want me to do any surgery. I should have done one when I was 6 years old. But she said no, because of all the mistakes that were made in Africa. So I went into the examination room. They did everything, and the lady called me. Everybody was leaving, and they were telling them, go and buy this or go to the pharmacy. There are free drugs there. And I was the only one that they called. So I went to the back. They had all these curtains that they'd used to make different divisions because it was a big church. So there's a little curtain there that they take people to, like, to say something that they will not want people to hear. But then it was just me. So we went, and then the lady told me. She said, you're having problems with your retina. She said, you have black floaters. I said, yes. She said, but we don't have retina specialists here. Yeah, so that day, I cried a lot. Yeah, I cried a lot because I was starting to think that something bad will happen to me, right? And then when I went to bed, I dreamt that I was blind.
Well, you dreamt about it?
Yes, I did. I woke up in the morning and everybody was saying, let us pray. Nothing will happen to you. Let us pray. But when you have a dream, you never know it's a dream. It was very vivid. And it stayed with me for a while. I was sad, I was down. Everybody was saying, oh, just pray, nothing will happen. If you've seen it in a vision, that means God is trying to avert it. I'm like, I don't know, but I had it in my mind that, I really felt it in my body. I did, So I was thinking that this was something that I should work on. So started looking at so many things to help me, right? And then, during the war and all that, there was trauma. And then that affected my eye really badly. Yes. So we wrote letters to different organizations all over the world. And they kept telling me to rehabilitate. Anytime the letter comes back, rehabilitate, rehabilitate. I never used to like that word.
So you don't like the word rehabilitate?
Oh, no, I do. I will tell you. I do. I will tell you. I will tell you why. When I came to Canada, it was a different thing, right? Yes. But by then, rehabilitation was a word that I would not want to hear. Because all the letters were saying, rehabilitation, rehabilitation. So I'm like, okay, what are they saying? So I looked up the word and I started looking at things. And I spoke to this guy, Dr. Dennis, Sight Savers, Dennis Williams.
Back in Freetown.
Yes. So he actually did all the tests because after they said to rehabilitate, they were still asking about follow-up treatments. They wanted all the results, all the tests. They wanted all the x-rays. So I still kept sending them. People kept telling me, oh, don't worry. There's some good coming out of it. Nobody told you no. They are still asking for more information. Don't worry. And my friend too, she was so religious. The one that took me to the ministry for this job I was doing, right? The teaching job. Yeah. She's a pastor now, actually. So she said, this is a good sign. And then waited and waited for all these papers to be processed, right? And then my cousin here, Mohammed, he too asked us to send a lot of information. And then he went to CNIB, Canadian National Institute for the Blind. And they had doctors too that actually looked at the results and all the tests and everything. And, it was actually a whole package, right? They had to look at my age and everything, right? Yeah, and my discipline, and they know I use my eyes a lot, sewing and doing all the handwork and all the other things I used to do, right?
All of this there was a doctor the other day I spoke with you. There was a Dr. Guess you mentioned about. Was he involved in all of this?
Yes, he was in Sierra Leone.
Okay.
By then, I had to do one surgery in Sierra Leone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you did the first surgery in
Yeah,
Sierra Leone?
that's when he came in urban. They used to call it Saola.
Urban Center at Kisi.
Yes, urban center. That was the it was Baptist. No,
it's
Methodist.
Methodist United.
Yes, UMC. Yes, it was UMC. Yeah.
United Methodist.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they used to go. A team of doctors and nurses, all white. They used to go to different places, right? So I think from Sierra Leone, he said he was going to Gambia after I did the surgery.
yes.
But you know what? He prayed.
He prayed for
Yes, before we did the surgery. And he said, I've done whatever humans can do. I've done everything possible. He said, no one would have done this. No one but me. But by then I didn't know, right? He was one of the best. Yes. He was retired and he was just giving back, going around helping people. His wife was a nurse too, right? Yeah. Yes.
Dr. Guest was a huge name. His name was big.
It was big, eh?
He was big, well, yes, of course. So then, from there now.
Well, actually, the surgery gave me a few months. I was going up and I went back to teach, But then after 6 months, I started having the same problem again, floaters. And then, have you heard about tunnel vision?
Not quite.
If you go to the CNIB, they will put holes in a clear paper, on a clear paper.
You mean holes?
Yeah, they will put holes, different sizes. Well, that's how the vision deteriorates, right? You first lose peripheral vision.
Okay.
And then you start losing central vision. So it goes gradually. Until there's a little, like a pinhole. So they have all these little holes that they put on these cards. When you go into CNIB, they show you how it works. So when there's a little pin, you look through, you could barely see, right? That's how it goes. And then finally, the vision goes totally. The only thing you have will be lights. They'll say light perception. They'll say LP. And they will say RP, retinitis pigmentosa. That was the diagnosis, right?
So you have all the...
Yes.
Oh, wow.
And I had cataracts too, right? So with the trauma, it did not help. I had just a little time for them to fix it. Otherwise, everything detaches. So my retina detached, and then everything started to detach, right? But then luckily, this doctor I was talking to you about said I had a 50-50 chance.
Okay.
Yes.
So there were still hopes?
That was the only person.
Yeah.
Nobody. He never said rehabilitation, right?
Yeah.
Thank God. Nobody. He was the only one. Yes.
Okay. So then, from that point, was it time now to come for the rehabilitation or to move over? By that time, did you have family as well?
Yes. I had family, right? Yes. I actually had to go to Guinea.
Okay.
When they were ready for me to actually appear in person. I had to go to Guinea, the embassy there, the Canadian embassy. And they were actually waiting for me because there was the intervention, ECOMOG intervention. Remember?
Yes,
Yes.
during the
Yes.
the junta period.
Yes. I did not have time to go because it wasn't safe. So I waited and waited. They kept writing. None of the letters actually came. But we knew because Mohammed here, my cousin, called us and told us that they were waiting. So he said, make a document and let them know that there's war, there's obstruction, the borders are closed. But then when things are back to normal, you can send a message again to the embassy and then take it from there. So when things were back to normal, we went to Guinea.
So, ladies and gentlemen, you are still watching the initial video podcast of Daniel Oldfield's Corner, the community's virtual platform, in collaboration with Medan Productions. And with me here is Mrs. Denisiah Allie, Auntie Denisiah, who is telling us about her situation back home in Sierra Leone, where she was a teacher, and then at some point she started having problems with the eyes, and we are now leading towards the situation whereby she was able to relocate to Canada. So let's carry on, Mrs. Allie.
Okay. Yes, coming to Canada. By then, my vision was blurry. The one eye was gone. I told you I had the tunnel vision and all. And then the other eye, which was the very soft eye that nobody could have operated on in Sierra Leone, was the eye that had this 50-50 chance.
Okay.
Which was a lucky break for me.
Whoa.
Yes. So I came to Canada and I was taken to the Canadian National Institute for the Blind. Yes.
So how was that in Canada?
Me in Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Oh.
Yes. So I went into CNIB and I was shown all these devices, I'm like, oh. In my mind, right, my cousin was just tapping me, We didn't let people see us, right?
Yeah.
With the Kongosa. That's what to say, right, in Creole. You did all these things. But you know what? These people have brought you, right? They've done so well. You have to come. They have to see in person. They have to know who you are. And you have to see the doctor as well. So I went to CNIB and then presented myself to the director, which was Robert Gannon. They were so happy to see me. The lady that was actually doing my documents, she said, oh, finally at last I can see you. She said I was on leave. I was like, don't come here when I'm not here. I'm happy you are here. She was on maternity leave. She said, oh my God. I was like, let this lady don't come because we have so much about you from your cousin. Your mom was just blowing my tops, right?
That's right. And that was good. It was good that you had somebody, your relative, or
she was like,
for them to...
If she comes here, you will love her. She's
That's
such
right.
a good art. Like, oh my God. She said, oh, we know about you. We know about you. We know everything about you. So I didn't say anything. My mouth's full.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
So, all our the listing, on the this Auntie Denisiah, right here in Edmonton, Alberta, and they engaged so the Rufus Corner video podcast in collaboration with Medan Productions. I do this right now. They do this interview. Well, to Denisiah, they tell with Mrs. Allie, they tell with all but himself from Sierra Leone as a teacher, onto this same way, I begin getting problem. Do one operation day. Now she's in Canada. Continue, Mrs. Allie.
Yes, so came to CNIB, right? And then after that, the serious part begins. We had to see the doctors. Yes, I wasn't looking forward to that, but I had to do it. The first thing that they did was to control glaucoma.
Okay.
Yes, I had glaucoma in both eyes, acute glaucoma. So I was put on...
What does that mean?
Glaucoma is eye pressure, actually.
Oh.
Yes. One of the causes of blindness.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Well, I would say one of the main causes of blindness.
But there are lots of other causes.
Oh, yeah, there are, yes. So I had to go on medication for a month. And then that date was fixed in August for me to do my surgery. Came into surgery. So I was there, and then a couple of days actually in the hospital. People came to visit. I met most of the Sierra Leoneans,
They're in Halifax.
Yes. I came, I knew a few of them, but not as many as I saw in the hospital. Yeah, my cousin was just telling people, oh, she just came, but she'll be going back after her surgery, We think everything will go well. The doctor says everything went, the doctor said everything went well, So I was there for 3 days, went home. After 2 weeks, they have to do another procedure,
Okay.
which was to take the bandages out.
After 2 weeks.
Yes, and then check to see what was going on. But there's a blindfold, right? So you will not know what's going on in the eye. They tell you not to bend, not to lift. They give you all these rules, right? Because they want you to heal properly before they check the eyes. So I went, and then they have this the board with the lights and all the letters printed. I had to read. But they asked me first, how many fingers can you see? They were actually close to the lights. That's how they do it. They'll put their fingers right on the lights on the board for me to see and tell them what I see. So I said, no, I just see the lights. So the doctor kept coming forward with 2 fingers or 3 fingers, as the case may be, right? Until he came right to my face. I'm like, no, nothing. So he said, can you see the light at all? I said, yes. So that's LP. So the same thing has happened to the other eye. The same thing that happened to the left
eye?
one. Yeah.
Has now sort of
happened to the right eye.
To the right eye.
And I was asking them, do you think I should do this? Do you think the same thing will happen? They said, oh, would you not think after 40 or 50 years that you should have done this surgery and got the only chance that God gave you? I'm like, okay. They were talking about God, right? Because this guy was Arab, actually. He's Muslim. So he knows about God. But he was asking me, do you know anything about shushu?
What is the shushu?
Juju.
Oh, juju.
So my cousin had to say, so why do you have shushu? My cousin said, no. It jumped up really quickly. He said, no. If she has juju, she will not do juju on herself. It's other people that do juju on her, not her on herself. He said, okay, I know now. She said, oh, I don't understand. So when they say juju, it's not a bad thing, right? He said, no, it's bad. It's very bad. If they work juju on you, it's bad. So he said, look, my sister. He clapped his hands and talked to my cousin too. He said, I saw new cells growing, new nerve cells growing. I saw the cells. We saw the cells. Yes, they had the camera, they had everything. They said, it's just a surprise for us to see after 2 weeks. Now, the optic nerve is showing whitish or something like grayish. Yeah, I think it should be a darker color on the cameras, right? When they are doing the X-rays and stuff. They had something that they did that I actually had to go in. That same day, I was there for about 3 hours. They dilate your eye and then yes. Well, they want to know. So they say they've done all the tests and everything was showing whitish.
Well,
that means the nerve was dead. My nerves were dead.
Oh, no. So, Mrs. Allie, at this juncture, what were your plans?
I was just thinking, now I have to go back to Sierra Leone. What will I be doing? What situation will help me to live my life, to take care of my family, to do the things that I used to do before? I was doing this debate in my mind, and my cousin too was doing the same thing. But by then, he was going around looking for ways for me to stay.
Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
He came back to me and said, I've tried, but there's nothing, right? We can do now. So he said, we have to look at you stating all what you have, because that's what they do. I go on the computers. There's a kind of platform where you can state your background, school, if you have foreign language. And by then it was points. You have points. Each of the items has a point. If you score, how much was the score? I don't even remember. But there's a certain score that will make you proceed with applying for status here.
Okay. So at that point, were you already, or what you call the place, the CIA, the school, the blind school here?
Oh, yes, of
so
course.
are you able to do their courses, like to learn the braille and stuff
Well,
like that?
I go back to this rehabilitation. Remember, I was going to tell you about
Yes.
it?
Okay.
This is where the rehabilitation comes. Now I like it. Before I did not.
Okay.
Went into
You
the
see?
CNIB. Everybody was telling me, "Oh, we are
Okay.
so sorry. We understood that your surgery did not go well." I said, no, but by God's grace, I'm sure things will work out.
True.
I will have a miracle or something. The lady said, well, yes, we're looking for the miracle, but come, let me come show you the kitchen. And I went into the kitchen. I told them, I said, I'm all yours. Tell me what you want me to do today. Give me everything. I'm ready. They said, oh, yeah, you're ready. But before you were not. I sensed that you are not ready. You were not ready. This lady that taught me, what was her name? I forgot her name.
Some names you won't be able
Yes,
to remember.
my
because
brain
of-
teacher. Yeah. You know, that lady is so smart. She said she can sense things. She can sense people walking. She can hear even when she's not paying attention. It was so scary when she said that to me. She said, so I knew you were not ready. I can tell when you came earlier. She said, well, when was that? Was it a month ago or 2 months ago? She was trying to tease me or something. Like, oh, yeah, 2 months ago. That was in August. This is October, right? She said, yeah. So I know you're all ready. And then she gave me a tap on my back. So she said, come. Now I'm putting you to work. She said, kitchen. We start with the kitchen. She said, so you are a cook. You are, well, I know your background and everything. The machine is here. I used to sew and all that, right? You are good with your hands? I said, yes. So she said, see if you can touch things and tell me what you feel and all that. You know, my sense of touch wasn't developed. So I was tumbling around. I was making a lot of mistakes, right? Yes. And then she said, so now, you know what you need? I said, no, the white skin. And then she ran. That lady was blind, but she can move around.
Oh, she was a blind
Oh,
person
yes.
too.
She's been working in CNIB for what? 30, 40 years? Yeah.
Oh,
She was over, 70, but she was so agile.
very active.
Very active. Yeah, she ran and she got me the cane. She said, okay, now, grab onto this. She showed me how to fold the cane. And then she said, so this is point one. I just wanted to see how you can touch or how you can relate to things around you. I was stumbling around. It was so bad. I was even laughing at myself, right? She said, I like that. I like that. You're laughing at yourself. That's a good sign. You're not bitter. You're not mad. You're not sad. I'm like, you know, I've gone past that. Now it's reality. Now it's time to work. I need to do things. She said, I know that. So first of all, this cane you are having in your hands can tap around. She said, tap, tap. I started tapping the cane. She showed me how to put my thumb on there's a little handle at the top. And then she showed me how to maneuver around the object. She said, that's the stove and we hit it. She said, go around the stove.
That's in the
I
kitchen.
said, that's the counter. Yes, we were in the kitchen. Yes. And then we walked out of the kitchen and then she showed me the room where we'll be sitting down to do our lessons. She said, now there's a round table here and there are 3 chairs. Sometimes I'll have another student here. And then we walked. She held on to my hand. And then she told me, while I'm holding you on this side, on the left side, use your cane on the right side and tap. So I kept tapping. And we got to a door. She said, now, what do you notice? I tapped again, like, nothing. By then I was green, right? Nothing. She said,
You are
okay,
good.
that's a door. She said, big sweeps. She said, drag. Leave the cane, not the short taps like I showed you. Drag it. I dragged it and dragged it. She said, now big sweeps. And then when I swept on the left and I swept, I touched the lintel, right? She said, that's the door. She said, so let's go through. She said, I'm not good at this, but there's a mobility instructor that will come in very soon. So we went in, she showed me the computers, the chairs that we'll be sitting on. She showed me the typewriter where we start to learn keyboarding. And then she calls the lady, Mary Louise, are you ready for us? She said, oh, I am. She was just standing there. She said, I've been observing you too. So she came in. She said, I'm Mary Louise Chisholm. I'll be your mobility instructor. She said, I love your hair. They did my hair so nice. The braids that I had on, right? I said, oh, my cousins did my hair for me. She said, oh, it's so nice. It's so lovely. That was the best woman there. That lady, she was so good. And then she said, I will be doing your mobility instruction in the mornings, if that's okay with you, because I have classes.
Oh, okay, let me come in. So in that situation, that now that we are seeing now here, that now you've been made to stay?
No.
Were you able to stay at that time? Because
in Canada?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, not yet.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet. Mohammed was still looking, right?
Okay.
We are still looking. But so far, I have asked immigration to give me more time.
Well, so they extended the time, so to speak.
Because of my ward, the ward I don't like, rehabilitation.
Yeah, because at the time there was this situation back home.
Yes.
Now I get your point.
I had to do rehabilitation because they told in the letter that they wrote to immigration, they said she has to do mobility because she lost her sight. So I was given an extension, right?
Okay.
So I was supposed to leave in December of that year. Okay, so going back. So Mary Louise told me I'll be doing my classes in the morning. She said, is that okay? I said, oh, yes. I would like mornings, because she said, are you a morning person? I said, oh, yes, I am. She said, well, that's good. She said, because there are some people who are so grumpy in the mornings. She's so, she was so nice that she made me laugh. She said, I'm grumpy. She goes like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I said, no, I'm fine. So mornings, mobility, and then come in for Braille after midday. And then, yes, I started doing Braille. I took 6 months to do Braille. Yes. And then after that, we started keyboarding skills for me to work on the computers, right? And then I was doing this, and then they had this big function at CNIB. They asked me if I would like to volunteer. I said, well, I think I would like to. So they started teasing me, oh, your background in teaching and all that, we know you want to put your skills
So they knew that you were a teacher back
into
home,
good use. Yes, they had all my files, right? Yeah, my age, everything. They, oh, you were a teacher before. Each of the instructors have everything about me, right? They have to read and know about you, and they have to actually have a background because they want to know your mindset, if you are ready.
You're right.
And there are things that will be advantageous for you and things that they will bring in and things that they will not bring in. Mobility was not my strong point.
Okay.
No. I struggled a lot with mobility. I used to go to work when I started work, and I used to take the pedway. That one was easy. The bus just comes there, yes.
Wow.
My daughter was so amazed when she saw me walking by myself, going home after work.
You mean Mrs. Jago?
Yes.
Wow.
She said, wow, it was easy. That was the easy one, but I wasn't a good mobility person. No. I tried for the guide dog. I did not get it. So meanwhile, I applied for volunteer status at CNIB, and I started helping people with Braille. It was within a year of me going into CNIB, and everybody was happy. And then I did keyboarding skills before the computers. I think I did 1 month, right? 4 weeks, yes. And then I started on the computers. Then we went upstairs. I was promoted from downstairs to upstairs. That's why they have all their gadgets. The guy was up there, the one that used to do the computers. That's where they have all the labs and everything, computers, all their equipment were upstairs. So when you go upstairs, that means you have graduated. So I went upstairs, and he was a student actually, like the other lady that I said, she went back to school, Mary Louise, the lady I said I actually loved her, yes. The one that was doing mobility. She too was a nurse in training, right? Yeah. And this other guy too, he was a paramedic, the one that was doing the computers. He was just a part-time, a student worker.
So that means you were there now. You started teaching already, right?
Yes, helping
So-
people with Braille.
Okay, so from back home, once a teacher, there's the saying, once a teacher
Always
is
a
always
teacher.
a teacher.
Yes.
So that's how you taught there, and then
Yeah.
you came back here and
Mhm.
taught again.
Yes.
So what happened now with the family?
Well, we were trying to find ways. I told you, right? So one day the doctor, not the one that did the surgery, the retina specialist.
Okay.
He called me and he asked me what I was planning to do. He said, "Yeah, I know you are rehabilitating and all that, but what are your plans?" I said, "I don't know. I'm just doing rehabilitation now. I can't go back right now because of the war. So I don't know." And he said, "You know what? Come, tell your cousin to come with you. I want to talk to you." And then we went to his office. And then he checked my eyes because I have to be doing that every year. Even now I should, right? But I don't.
Okay.
So he said, there's a lawyer in Ontario that I would like you to talk to. He gave us his name and number on a piece of paper. He said, there are so many people coming here that have been asking for refugee status. They don't even have these kind of challenges that you have. So you go for it. Go and try and see. If nothing happens, you just let me know. So I was so thankful. That's the guy that was asking about Juju.
Oh, okay.
Yes, the
okay.
Arab
Okay.
guy,
Then
yeah.
figure out the Juju
Mhm.
stuff.
As a retina specialist. So he said, I will call again to find out, to see how far you've gone. I'll talk to the guy. I think they are related somehow, or probably they were friends or something, right?
Okay.
So we went home and called, but we did not get him, right? But then, they always have messages that they leave on the voicemail. We say press 1 for reception, press 2 for da-da-da. There was an office where I think they had about 4 or 5 doctors. So one of the options said, if you are applying for refugee status, download the forms, fill them out, and bring them in. The moment he said, I never knew, right? He said, okay, you know what? Let me go and get these forms, okay? Downloaded the forms, fill them out, and they took them in. By then, we did not see the guy that we were calling, right? The contact here, not the one in Ontario. There was a contact here before we would have spoken with the lawyer at, what's the law firm? One of the biggest law firms actually in Ontario, yes.
Right.
Yeah. He's a famous guy, was too busy, right? So the guy told us, I don't get this guy. We called too. We said, oh, we are not getting hold of this guy. He said, but you know what? You have the forms, right? Make sure they are filled out properly. I will go in personally and hand it in for you guys. We said, okay. He said, somebody from the refugee board will call you. Just like that. Couple of weeks I was called. He said, oh, we want to talk to Mohammed. Mohammed first side, and then, oh, is your cousin there? He said, oh, yeah, she's here. Can she talk to us? He said, oh, go ahead. She can. Go ahead. I said, oh, this is Denisiah. We talked and said, okay, now we are going to get you set up for an interview. Yeah, so that means I have to go see the refugee board, right? I think it was like 4 weeks. Yeah, 4 weeks after that. But then they told me they were going to open my file in Guinea. Yes, the file that I left in Guinea when I was coming.
Yeah.
Yes, so they want to check the file there and then they will get back to me. It took like a couple of weeks. And they said, we have everything now. We have your file. We just wanted to see everything that was in the file there. We know you came in for surgery, but because of the war,
notes and
yes,
stuff. That's right.
because of the war, you cannot go back, or your bad experiences with trauma and all that. which has led to your
Present
they don't want to
situation.
say blindness, no.
Well, they don't want to
Yeah.
discourage you. Yeah.
Your visual impairment and all that, right? Yeah. So came in. Well, anyway, the refugee board was hectic, but God willing, I went through that, and then my cousin took me back to CNIB that very day. I finished what I was doing, and then went back home. It was so helpful. He said, now when you start walking with your cane, I will not be taking you everywhere. Like, am I going to be able to do this? I said, I don't know. That's not one of my strong points, right?
Okay.
That walking around. You know, I came from Sierra Leone, right? We have crazy roads, crazy drivers. I don't know if I'll get used to that.
Everything is.
What I did though, I actually was managing. But I will not use my white cane here in Edmonton. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
People are too crazy here.
That's okay. If you are listening, you are still listening to our inaugural video podcast of Daniel Rousseau's Corner in conjunction with Madan Productions. And we're right here in Edmonton, Alberta, and you're listening to the one and only Mrs. Allie. And she's telling us about her situation from Sierra Leone, where she started having problems with the eye, up to Canada. And now she's still explaining to us. And if you're listening, this will entice you to see a woman of resilience. Una would listen. We sabi Creole. This time Mrs. Denisiah Allie. It explained to we, una de Siana, na woman of many parts. So now Mrs. Allie they tell una how it transitioned from a teacher na salon, where na they get problem with the eye, take on Canada. And now it tell we how it managed for stay. This is a story of resilience. Now, a woman of many parts. Continue, Mrs. Allie.
The good results came. They said I made it through the refugee interview. So I was supposed to go and get my medicals done. Mohammed said, I will tell you. When I came out of there, I'm like, if I am the one doing this, I will not give myself any good points. He said, don't say that. You are just hard on yourself. You are very good. I like, no. You are just saying that to make me feel good. He said, no. You are good. I have something positive here. I can feel it right in my heart. And he was right. I was granted refugee status. I had to do all my papers and medicals. Then I had to get the documents for my family. But by then, nothing was happening with that. I was talking to one of my friends at CNIB. He said, oh, they're not going to do anything for your family until you have your residency. I'm like, are you serious? He said, I'm telling you. I said, don't tell me that. I don't want to hear that. He said, I'm telling you, that's what will happen. And you know what? He was right. He was right. They wanted to know if I can walk, right? Mm-hmm. So I was talking to people at the CNIB. I said, I know Braille. I can read Braille. I can read for people. Anything with Braille will work for me. Braille will work for me. I can cook. I can stand on the stove. I can do everything. People were saying to them, yes, she can. So one day, this guy that does the computers, well, I told you about the student that was helping me out, right?
Yes, you did.
He was just a temporary worker, right? But then there was this other guy, Chris. He was the actual guy, the computer guy. So he started teaching me after the guy left. He went back to school. So he said, you've been running around us for work. Can you go to the casino?
That's talking to you.
Yeah. Can you go to the casino tomorrow at 4:00? We were in class, right? I said, okay. What do you want me to do at the casino? Just go and observe. You say you want to work, right? Go see what you can do.
Whoa.
I was so happy. He said, no, don't be happy yet. I don't want you to go there, have problems, and then come back because you've been bugging us, right? I'm like, okay, I'm going. So I went to the casino. I took the disability bus and then went to the desk where the lady was. She said, "Oh, so you're the lady that's looking to work here?" I said, "Hopefully." And then she took me into the court. There was the court check. So she took me into the court room, and then she said, "I will be showing you things, but we will be having interruptions from time to time because people will be coming to get their coats. But you know what? It will be good for you because you can see how this is done."
Okay.
I'm like, okay. She said, "Make yourself comfortable. You can sit. There's coffee at the back. You can stand, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you are paying attention." I'm like, "Oh yeah, I will." So I stood there. People came for their coats and all that. She started showing me the racks. It was a spiral one. So we had to be going around and around and around. She showed me the Braille numbers, but then I could not read the normal numbers because of
So it's difficult for you
yes.
to do this.
Well, I mean, they had the large prints too, right? But no, I only had light perception, like I said. So she said, "Touch the Braille." I touched the Braille. So the code goes from 1 to 1,099.
Was it that much?
Yes, it was a big code rack. When they have
That
functions.
means the place was packed.
Or when they have functions, that's not enough. We add another coat room.
Oh my God.
They open a second coat room when they have functions there. Yeah. So she showed me that coat room, but we didn't go in. She just said that's a spare coat room just in case, right? We have overflow. So I started helping her out. If I'm closer to the numbers that the people bring, because I was standing on the other side and she was on the other side, like it was a very small desk. We were standing opposite each other. So some of the coats were on the left and some on the right. So she was on the left and I was on the right side. So if somebody comes and the number happens to fall on the right side, she tells me, "Go for it." So I was very slow at the beginning.
It was a process, you know.
Yes, and after 4 hours, I just saw myself. She said, "You know what? I think you can do this." She said, "Let me tell you, I never dreamt that you do this." She said, "When you came in, I'm like, okay, so here we go again." She said, "But I like your attitude." She said, "Don't worry. You'll not be able to do this as fast as I'm doing it." She said, "Because one, I have sight, but I do the large print because she too has some problems, right?" She said, "But I do large prints." She said, "But I admire you doing the Braille." She said, "You know, when you start working here," she's been positive, right? She said, "When you see those guys that do Braille, they are doing it faster than me." That's what she was saying to me. I'm like, she said, "Oliver works here." I'm like, what? She called all the guys. I'm like, "Oh, I know all of these people." Yeah, because we were having meetings at CNIB all the time. Well, I think once a month or so. And then they had sports clubs and I started going in. I didn't join at first. I was just, looking at things and they said, "Don't worry, you're not in a hurry, just make friends, talk to people." So I was thinking about joining the sports group there, right? So like, "Oh, they all are in the goalball." "Yeah, you want to play goalball?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Oh, you will love it." She said, "Goalball is good, right?" She said, "Don't worry, you'll see me around." She too used to play before, but she used to coach some of the girls' teams, right? Yeah, so.
So at this point,
Yes.
Mrs. Ali, you had the inkling. You were like having the feeling that you might just get the job, right?
Yeah, I did. When they went to CNIB with my reports, it was all, I passed with flying colors. Everything was good. All the points that they were looking for, I had. Social skills, I had. Sense of direction, I did. Timing, I did. By 4 hours, I was taking those codes as if I've been working there for years.
So you met all the criteria. So
Yes, I like your attitude. She said, I had no choice. I had to work because they will not be my family. The guy told me, my friend, he said, they are not going to start your paperwork until you have residency. And then you know what he said again? He's an immigrant too. He said, find a job.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did.
So then, in that situation, how long did it take you at that time to get your stay? Your residency, that's what I'm talking
It
about.
was 7 years.
Okay. So during that 7 years, you were
No, it
able,
was 6. 6.
so during that 6 years, we were
Yes.
able to get the family around, right?
No, it was right. When I got my residence in July, that's when their process started. And then they too got their own in July, the following July.
You mean the
So
family?
it was just 1 year. Yes. He told me, he said it's 1 year. They will not do anything now. So I went and told him, I'm like, you're the one that's keeping me in this country. He said, why are you saying that? I'm like, yeah, you predicted and your prediction came true, right? Yeah.
So, Mr. Allie, at this juncture now, we're coming to now you had the good news that your family will be coming over.
Mm-hmm.
How do you felt at that time?
I was so happy. That time, the CNIB, you know, when I used to complain that it's taking too long, they say, oh, the processing. And then they will tell you, oh, because of the war, they cannot send people to go in, right? So they did it through UNHCR. And then when things were okay, that's why it took so long. They had to send it to IOM again. So they started the whole process again. Because they were thinking that the war was, well, they will not know, right? So they would just do the UNHCR thing and just hope the war is over and then they will go in. But if it doesn't, then with UNHCR, they will just continue, right? That's why they went there in the first place. But then luckily, the war ended, right? So we did not continue with UNHCR. They had to go back to Freetown, to IOM. But it took 1 year. It was fast. Yes.
So then, how many family members were we expecting at the time?
I was expecting my 2 kids and my husband.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right. So you guys who are listening, you see, we are rounding up now, but I can tell you, you've been listening to this inaugural video podcast of Daniel Oldfield's Corner, which is the community virtual platform in collaboration with Medan Productions. And we're talking to Mrs. Allie, who has got to the point where she's receiving the family. And she was all poised, all smiles, that at the end of the day, she'll be receiving the husband with the children. But when they came, the family improved, right?
Well, yes, actually, because it was in August. They had to go to school, right? So it was all running around, trying to get to school, trying to get them to take exams, because they had to actually show that they were ready for the grade that they were supposed to be in, right?
Okay.
Well, it took a while for them to settle down. You know, August is close to winter, right?
Winter, that's right. Just moving into winter. And that would have been their first experience.
They were lucky because Halifax is not as cold as Edmonton.
Okay. So were they happy to sort of transition, sort of the weather?
Not at the beginning,
accustomed to the weather
not
here
at the beginning.
as to compare to back home?
Not at the beginning. They were missing their friends. And my daughter, the older one, Annette,
okay,
whenever she comes home, she would knock at that door. If somebody doesn't open, she say, oh my God, don't put it. She'll come. Oh, my hands.
Oh, hands so
my
cool.
hands. What am I doing here? I used to laugh at her. She said, you will be telling that to other people. And then, of course, she does that. She's like, oh, me too. When I came, I was so bad. But she was very studious. She liked the school. She liked, very ambitious. She liked going to school. She liked learning, you know. So, yeah. And she did very well at school.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
she
then
came
the boy?
in grade, yeah, the boy too, yeah. They're smart kids. You know, there are problems with our children in Sierra Leone, right?
No.
Most of them. I always tell the one here, the little one, the one I had here. I tell him, I'm like, you, if you were born in Sierra Leone, you'll not be doing this. You talk to your sister and brother. They know what they're about, but you don't know what you're about. He says, no, Mom, don't say that. I say, oh, no, I'm just joking.
Okay, Mrs. Allie, now that we've heard about your joy of getting the family over, people here will be asking if Mrs. Allie was in a position to talk to people of your same situation, to go through, you are a person of resilience, right? If you are told to advise people with such a, eye problem, what will you say to them? Those who want to become downcasted, say, oh, no, it's not. What will you tell them at this point in time?
Well, actually, I left that out. I was actually volunteering. I think it's after they came that I went into that part of the CNIB, that branch, talking to people losing their sight. Yeah, after the diagnosis, they will match me up with someone my age, mostly women, and then I'll talk to them about my experiences and just try to encourage them, Sometimes some people will call back because they are supposed to call you back and tell you if they are ready to talk. Some people call back, some will not. And there'll be some that you'll be talking to then probably for a few, because we did that twice a week, for a few weeks. And then after that, they would tell you, oh, I cannot go on talking. I'm not as positive as you, I know you came from Africa and everything you are doing here is so good. People at CNIB talk about you. They sing your praises. But you know what? I'm not like you. One time I was offended. I'm like, I'm not going to be doing this anymore. But then Robert told me, go ahead, you are doing a good job. People should be angry, right? They said that there's anger. He said, you remember what happened to you? You cried first. He said, oh, I have no tears to shed, right? You were angry, right? Then after that, you start accepting your situation. So just give them time. But I had few people that were really good that I was able to talk to. And they came back to the CNIB and told them that that lady helped us out. She's so positive. She's a good person. All the good praises for me, right? By then. So that was one thing I did too, right? Volunteering in the Braille. I was doing keyboarding as well with CNIB. And then I did the peer support. That's how we call it. Talking to people that have plans to do surgery, or people whom they've told that there's no way, that they could not see anymore. People who are struggling to do things, we just talk to them, right? Talk to them and tell them that things will happen, right? So I would say to people in my situation, be open-minded.
That's right.
Don't say no to anything. Do everything possible. Be hopeful. Be strong. No one will do it for you but yourself. I learned that the hard way.
You guys relocated now to Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
How has it been in Edmonton with the community, everybody? You have sort of imbibed everybody, and people like you because you are such an outgoing person. Your family is good. Now the family has grown. So how do you feel about all this?
I do my best, right, to help my children because it's so hard. It's so hard here. It's so difficult here. Back home, we used to have people helping. Even if you are living with people, you don't have to be related to them. You just tell them, oh, just look at my kid for me. I'm going to the markets. The person will do the same too, right? So we looked out for each other. We were each other's keepers, right? So I helped them out, and they are grateful. And you know what? They are my champions. And you know what? The people tell you, oh, Mom, you can do this. If they tell you all that all the time, what do? You don't sit down and fold your arms and fold your feet. If they tell you, Mom, you can do it, that means you have to work harder, right? And you should do more, right? So I thank God I have them. I have my family, I have my grandchildren, and they keep me busy. But you know, I don't give up. I'm still looking at doing more stuff, right? I tried school, it did not work for me because of the technology, right? But you know what? I'll try again.
That's right. Never say never.
If at first you don't succeed.
Try again. So
that's my motto.
So, ladies and gentlemen, having heard all of this that Mrs. Denisiah Allie have said to us, I want to believe it's up to you that this is just the beginning. As I said, you'll be seeing more of Mrs. Allie. She happens to be first person, somebody who opened the doors to this very, very initial or the inaugural video podcast of the Oldfield's Corner, which is a community virtual platform in collaboration with Medan's production. This is the first, and she happens to be our first somebody we spoke to, and you heard what she said. She has given us an insight, a total view of her life from back home to here. She has just encouraged us, for you who are in the same situation, be strong and believe that whatever happens, happened for a reason. So now, as we round up now, I want you to give your last word, Mrs. Allie, because we're rounding up. What is your last word to viewers who will be looking at you all around the world? Because it's not going to be only here in Canada. It will be in Sierra Leone, it will be in China, Japan, all over. I trust you. We have the team that will facilitate that, our production team.
Yes. I would say I'm open. If people want to ask me questions about resiliency or the way I've done things so far or the way I'm planning to do things in the future, I'll be available to answer questions. But then I'll still come back because there's more to be said. Thanks for having me.
And to the family, your loving family, what do you say to them?
Or I'll say, I love you guys. You have been pushing me forward, and because of you, I'm stronger. I love you all. Big hugs to my grandchildren, my loving grandchildren.
That's right. You had it all. You had it all. Mrs. Denisiah Allie, I want to give me a hand. I want to thank you for being our first interview on this program. We shall be having you many more times. This is just the beginning of greater things to come. As we round up now, on behalf of the Oldfield's Corner, which is the community virtual platform, and Medan Production, I want to thank my able producer, and of course, my very versatile and dynamic director. I want to thank you guys. This is yours truly, the Oldfield's Corner, saying ta-ta.